Okay, everybody. Hey, hope you're doing well. We are going to talk about quickly the 2026 hiring freeze and also, you know, how things are happening. And sometimes there's a message within the message. So, what is happening in this country is absolutely horrifying. I've been coined it as the civilized silent purge, where basically things are changing before your very eyes, adverse to you. And basically, it's just a civilized silent purge where a lot of people are losing everything, and it really is a major threat to your existence. So 2020, around March of 2020, we had the pandemic and, things were shutting down and people were told to stay home. Okay. And a lot of people never recovered back. They never were called back to their original jobs. And then we've had for the last couple of years all the layoffs. Said before, I said again, when I was saying to women in particular, do not carry the seed of poverty D. Why? Because it's going to get harder. The programs that people are used to being there are not going to be there. Now we're fast forwarding cuts on Section 8, Medicaid, Medicare. People cannot afford housing. And now, out of all the constant layoffs, now we're looking at 2026. What's to look forward to? Oh, a big old hiring freeze. So if people cannot, we're not talking about trying to thrive. At this point, we're just looking at the basics of trying to survive. If people cannot survive, they can't afford food, housing. What about retirement? Retirement is over. Do you think it's going to be some big old social security program that's going to kick in for people who haven't been working? See, here's the harsh reality. And this may not be, just kind of give you a warning. I'm going to talk about SUICIDE. Two things before I get into that. The powers that be, they can see what's going on. The man that was killed in Minneapolis with the ICE protest, I saw that as two things. More than just ICE. I saw on Fox where they were showing the guy had gotten into it with the agents, doing the protest, and oh my goodness, he kicked the car. Ooh, he kicked out a tail light. Ooh, it's the taxpayers' right anyway. You pretty much sitting into driving a government vehicle. It's the taxpayers' vehicle. Am I saying what he did was right? No, but you cannot equate to someone kicking a tail light into someone losing their life. So the guy's an ICU nurse, and I said, I think also there's a bigger message in that. See, when you get to a point when people have nothing they've relied and believed on and designed their lives based on a lie about the system because it's not working. Oh, get your education and work hard, yeah, and still can't afford housing. Get your education and work hard and can't afford the student loans because the job you thought you would get to pay back the loans is not existent. Oh yeah, get your education and work hard, and you still can't afford to buy groceries. Yeah, got it. Choose one or the other. Gas in the car or food. So you have a system that is broken. And when I saw that, I said, there's also my belief. There's another layer to the onion. And I think what that is, when people get to a place and they realize that, oh my goodness, I don't think I'm going to be able to survive, and they get very angry, and I relied on this system, and the system has let me down, and I cannot make it, people may start to act out. But since we all saw that on television, I would imagine, most people have seen it, of the protester in Minnesota being his life just being taken, I don't see him being a threat. You had, I would say, maybe 5 to 7 agents over this guy. That right there, I saw that also as a message. So when people decide to go ahead and get out of control, get out of hand because they're mad at the system that has let them down and they cannot afford to survive, newsflash, don't even get it twisted. I do not care who you are. You can be of the dominant culture. I saw that as a newsflash. Guess what? This is what can happen to you. You're not going to, seriously, that's my interpretation. And people don't sometimes see things until it happens. So when you see that and you're like, oh, look what happened to ICE. That's also, in my opinion, part of the programming. If people cannot make a living, if you cannot afford replacement income, how are you going to still pay for your house or your apartment, your rent, pay for your mortgage, pay for your insurance, pay for food? Let alone the working years. If you can't work in the working years, how are you going to pay into a retirement? If you can't find work in order to survive, they're not worried about that. It's going to be a burden on the taxpayers. No, 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 no. Unfortunately, some people will become very angry, upset, and weak, and they will engage in SUICIDE, Medicaid and Medicare. Can't get on that program. You think it would be so easy? Why are they kicking people off? So what's going to happen if people can't afford to? They cannot find a job where they can survive. Aside from some will engage or consider SUICIDE, don't worry. As people get older, need health care, even younger people, you could have a disease or illness that could be prevented with care. Guess what's going to happen? You don't have health insurance. More people will die. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. The thing about that, though, these are, of course, not going to be rich people. It'll be people like an everyday American citizens like you and me. You really don't think that they figured that out? What about retirement? A lot of people, under these circumstances, will not live to see a retirement. Again, civilized silent purge. What's the Purge the movie about? When they're purging people, people were not surviving within that time period. Everybody's not going to live to see the next day. So, what do you think a civilized silent purge is? Everybody's not going to be able to provide for retirement, no big deal. Everybody's not going to live to even get to retirement age. This is what is happening. Civilized silent purge, it is on, and I think it's in effect. Out of all this, a hiring freeze. Basically, just the American worker can't catch a break. The American citizens can't catch a break. What do you think is going to happen? It's not going to be a miracle. I'm going to wait and see what's happening. Keep waiting. Yeah, we're seeing what's happening. So let me know what you think about this. A hiring freeze. Then if they're not hiring, how are people supposed to get a replacement job, replacement income to survive? Again, we're not even trying to talk about, let's thrive. No, we're just basically just trying to survive. How is that going to happen? 5 years from now, based on the trajectory that we're in, I think we're going to see a whole new America. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share them out.